Ranked too low? Yo, Coach Key, right outside the top 25 when it comes to CBS Sports rankings. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm Georgia Tech, I'm low-key feeling slighted by CBS Sports, right? And the only reason I do, y'all, is because I look at the rankings for Alberto Mendoza, I look at the rankings for my team, and I feel like I've been catching strays all day long. But we got more to discuss. We'll talk about more, obviously, with the ranking and everything here in just a second. But y'all know what to do. I had to get the little appetizer. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. How about the video? And we're going to break all this down, and we're going to go live at noon. So y'all tune in for that. We're going to break this one, and we're going to go live at noon talking about some underrated games. But the ranking is very interesting, and we're going to pull it up right here, y'all. Like, I like that Coach Key is moving up in the rankings, but it's like at the same time, I feel like he's being disrespected, right? And the reason I do is because what he's meant to this program, right? We talked about yesterday on the show the schedule times. 3 of the 4 games is in prime time this year, just to start the season. And 3 of the 4 games are at ESPN, right? Now, ESPN has nothing to do with this ranking, but it's just to show you how far this program has come, right? Coach Key has led Georgia Tech to multiple 7-6 seasons, right? Then he went last year, had the boys on the cutting edge, nearly made it, obviously, to an ACC title game. Came one game short. If they beat Pittsburgh, they get there, right? That's a 10-win season for them. They ended up winning 9 games last year, going 9-4. So I like Sonny Dykes. I'm not saying he's not a great coach. I know he went 9-4 last year, and Coach Key went from 30 and went up 3 spots, right? And you know that's a smooth jump. He's jumped Clark Lee of obviously Vanderbilt, Manny Diaz, who won an ACC title. So I know fans will probably feel some way about that, and Brent Venables as well, who made a a college football playoff loss in the first round, right? But I believe Coach Key has done more for a program, right? You go look at some of those programs we talked about; those are more established, right? And when I say established, I'm not saying Georgia Tech hasn't won national championships, right? I'm talking about Coach Key has went into the depths of the darkness to get this team back to where it was. 4-win seasons and being nationally irrelevant, essentially. That's no longer the case, right? Their game against Tennessee is prime time on 7 p.m. Okay? That to me says obviously a lot. And it speaks to the changes with this program. It speaks to what Coach Key has done at a consistent level, right? And it deserves to cut off this Wi-Fi because I'm lagging bad. Hold on, y'all. And it speaks to the reshaping of this program, right? And it needs to be respected, right? So again, the 3 spots moving up is good, right? Then we look at some of the other rankings. I'm going to talk about what was obviously said, right? But the other rankings are here for the top 25, right? And they put Brett Belima, who won 9 games with Illinois, right? Now, I was supposed to be a team that was supposed to be much better last year, right? With Luke Altmaier. This was a team they thought, okay, they might have a chance to make the college football playoff. Didn't happen, right? Louisville's another team that, went strong in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? But they've been kind of teetering a little bit. Now, he dropped 7 spots in this recent ranking, but they get obviously a lot of good stuff. A lot of Drinkowitz of Missouri 8-5, but still haven't done anything quite relevant just yet. Had a good start to the season, went 6-2, but haven't been as relevant just yet. Kenny Dillingham, I like him. I think he's a great coach. I wouldn't say Coach Keys. I think he's right outside of Kenny Dillingham, right? But you can't tell me he's not better than some of these coaches. Kirk Fritz of Iowa, it's been a while since we've seen Iowa actually relevant, right? Houston, it's been some years, right? Willie Fritz, we know he's been there for a while. But you can't tell me, guys, that Coach Key is not better ranked than 27. He should easily be in the top 25 for what he's done and what he's just meant to this program, right, for Georgia Tech. So this is what was said. Brent Key has now finished 4 seasons at Georgia Tech. Each year has seen improvement. Last year's 9-4 mark with a 6-2 record in the ACC was Key's best yet. And those results saw him finish as high as 20th on our ballots. 2026 season will be interesting, though. Not only does Key lose his veteran quarterback, Haynes King, but also offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, who left for the same role at Florida and took King's backup Aaron Follow with him. If Key can maintain his pace despite all those changes, he's going to crack the top 25 next year, right? And I think, like I said, I think he should already be there with the national relevance, right? Winning the big games, right? He's already beaten in his career multiple top 25 teams. I believe he has a winning record against top 25 teams, especially even at home, right? He's beaten the Miamis, right? Who was a top-ranked team, that number 1 overall pick. He's beaten Florida State when they were ranked number 10 in the country. He's beaten Clemson, who was highly ranked last year in the country, right? He's beaten North Carolina when they had Drake May, right? Like, he's beaten these teams and has done what he's supposed to do. So to me, yes, Sonny Dykes is a good coach. We've seen the other obviously ahead of him, but Key should easily be a top 25. And this year, there's going to be no question about it, right? If they go and they have another good season with all the turnover, right? They just talked about the offensive coordinator loss. He also lost the defensive coordinator, Blake Gideon, replaced him with Jason Seymour. George Gossi as his new offensive coordinator, right? New quarterback, lost both of his quarterbacks from last year, right? Brought in Justice Hayes, who was the top running back in the transfer portal, right? Really good player, really good upside. I think it'll be an NFL draft pick, probably for go first round, right? And he's had to retool this entire roster, right? He lost assistant coaches as well, right? So you're looking at a whole reshift of a team, right? And this offensive line will be different, right? No more, you don't have Joe Fusal no more. You don't have, Keelan Rutledge, who was consistent All-American first round draft pick, right? That's not coming back anymore. You know what I'm saying? You lose some of those guys. So now you have to replace them. You have a brand new center, Harrison Moore and Tena Aloa both left. So how do you replace that kind of offensive line and build depth there? And that was the big thing he talked about was building depth, building size, building girth. And it's going to be very interesting this year. So if Coach Key goes and they're in the national primetime spotlight and they're relevant and they're winning games and they go and they have a winning record this year, 100% is going to be in the top 25. I think it should be right now because this team wins big games. They perform at a high level. And what he's been doing with recruiting, top 25 recruiting class, obviously 2025. We'll see about this year if he can close in on that. Trending for obviously several prospects and things like that. But Coach Key has done what Coach Key has done, and he deserves to put a little bit more respect on his name. And like I said, I ain't saying he's a top 10 coach just yet, but he's certainly a top 25 coach. And if Georgia Tech didn't think so, they wouldn't give him that 5-year extension. So I just think we got to get a man a little bit more respect. He's been doing some great things with Georgia Tech, and I think he's going to be that type of a coach that we look back and like, yo, we shouldn't have been sleeping on Coach Key as much, right? Now, for Coach Key, I'm gonna tell you one thing that will help you out a lot. And I know if you ever see this video, he's gonna be like, you know what, Najee, right? It's beating Georgia, right? Can you finally get over that hurdle of Georgia? You smacked him in the mouth a few years ago in that 8 overtime game, right? Now the key word is just finish. Can you finish that game and finally beat them, right? That would do a lot for Atlanta and for the fan base. Then it's like, oh, when you look at recruits, okay, yeah, we got a player, Keelan Rutledge in the first round of obviously the NFL draft, but now we're also beating our in-state rival, right? So why would you want to come play for Georgia Tech? Why would you want to come be a part of something special, right? So then you start seeing that shift. And they've already been getting guys, right? Keelan Jones, former Georgia commit, he ends up flipping and goes to Georgia Tech, right? Christian Garrett, former Georgia commit, he flips and goes to Georgia Tech, right? So we're seeing that more prevalently and more often, now in the Georgia Tech regime. So I think 27 is too low. Again, I think we got to put some respect on this man's name. He's special. He knows what he's doing, and this is going to be a great year for him, right? And I think this is the breaking point. When I say breaking point, like I think this is when we see Coach Key, right? Like you've been hitting up against it. You've been doing great things. New quarterback Alberto Mendoza, new defensive line looking like new pieces, right? If you can go, this is that breaking point and breakthrough, right? So if Coach Key, you go from that 9-4, you win 10 plus games, maybe even 11 games, right? You're looking now at okay, yeah, you're no longer a top ACC coach, right? Or Georgia Tech's no longer a program that's still climbing. They've arrived. They're here. Now he'll never say that, but he will be looked at in a totally different light if that happens, right? Coach Key will be revered and looked at as a top coach in the country, right? So they have that opportunity, they have that ability. They got to work out some kinks and different things like that. But if they do that, this team is dangerous. This team has high upside, right? And I think the marker has to be 10 plus wins this year. Now, it won't be easy. You got Louisville, Virginia Tech, Clemson on the schedule, which I think all will be pretty good this year. But if you split that, if you go 2-1 in that schedule, you handle business and you beat a Tennessee, right? You may lose to Georgia. You're looking at a 10-2 campaign, right? So that to me, that's the key. Like obviously win your other games, but that 3 games right there, that Louisville, Virginia Tech, Clemson, if you can go 2-1 in those 3 games, you can beat Tennessee at home, 7 p.m. kickoff will be a great game. And then let's just say you stumble upon Georgia. You're 10-2, right? That gives you a 7-1 record in the ACC. You should make the ACC title game. At that point, you control your own destiny because if you win the ACC title game, automatic berth into CFP. There's no more, oh, this team gets in over this team. No, automatic berth for any of the Power 4 conferences. So we're going to see what happens. But 27 is too low for Coach Key. He should be in the top 25, in my humble opinion, right? But that's all we got for this video, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys think of this ranking. Is it right? Is it justified? Or is Key ranked too low? Let me know down in the comments below. Till next time, y'all. Appreciate you tuning in, man. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.